Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video, no, we're not going to do anything car detail related. We're going to do something mechanical and preventive maintenance related. Now, obviously I'm going to be showing how to do this on a 2015 Honda Accord. It's the K24 4-cylinder engine. This is the 9th gen engine. This will apply to any gasoline direct injection. So the problem in a nutshell, if you're not familiar with what GDI or gasoline direct injection means, in these engines, the injector sprays fuel directly into the cylinder. So air comes in the intake, it goes over the intake valve, it goes into the cylinder, and the fuel is sprayed directly into the cylinder, similar to how a diesel engine works. Now, port fuel injection, which is what fuel injected engines have been for 30 years, had the fuel injector in the intake manifold somewhere along that system. So air would come in, the fuel would spray into the intake manifold, usually very close to the intake valve. The air and fuel mixture would wash over the valve and then get drawn into the cylinder and get burned. The advantage to GDI, you get a little bit better fuel mileage, you can run a little bit higher compression ratio, and you get a little bit more power. The problem is, and why we're here today, is that since with the GDI system, fuel does not run over the valve, the intake valve anymore, because there are detergents and additives in the fuel, in the gasoline that you buy at the gas station, that helps keep the valve clean on the back side. You have exhaust gas recirculation, you've got oil vapor, you have all that stuff coming through, and now that is landing on the back of the valve, and what happens is over time you get a coking, a very hard carbon deposit on the back of the valve. It can cause hard starting, it can cause rough running, poor gas mileage, pre-ignition, a whole host of problems. Now, the problem is, how do you clean that? Well, the ultimate way is to remove the head, and you can blast it with crushed walnuts. That is very labor intensive and very expensive. Some of the car manufacturers, BMW comes to mind, have a big problem with the carbon deposits on the back of the valves, hence a lot of times that's what you have to do. We don't want to have to do that. We want to do this easy. And today I'm going to be showing you, I made a kit up. We're going to be using the CRC GCI intake valve and turbo cleaner. We're going to be using this, and I've got a measured line that it's about 6 feet, and I've also made a plunger, a little stopper on the end. This doesn't come with the, this comes off. I made this and drilled a hole in it, and I'm going to show you how neat this is going to be. This allows you to do this procedure by yourself sitting in the car seat, because you're going to have to keep the RPMs around 2,500 RPMs when you do this. If you have a friend, you could perhaps not use this, but I'm going to tell you why this is really a good way to do this. And the best way to do that is to show you. So let's go outside and look at the Honda, and let me show you the two options that you have for getting this in your engine. Okay, so the two options, the two easy options you have for doing this is you would have this can, it's got a flexible straw in it, and most people probably would remove the intake air boot. This is your air cleaner right here. This is the throttle body that's attached to the intake manifold, and would either remove it here or here and kind of wedge the straw in there and try to spray. The problem with that is there's a sensor, there's a map sensor here, and there's other sensors here, and you have a good possibility of throwing a check engine light if you do that. So it's not the most ideal situation. The best way to get this into the engine is by use of a vacuum line. And the easiest vacuum line that we can use is the brake booster hose vacuum line. It's right here. It's extremely easy on this engine to get to. Your engine, if you're not working with one of these, you could be working with the V6 model, you could be working on a Chevy Malibu. It doesn't matter. First of all, find the brake booster line and see if it's accessible. And what I've designed is I've designed this hose to fit over, and I'm going to show you this, the nipple of this vacuum line, where there will be no vacuum leaks. either there or where we're going to squirt the cleaner into. So let me get the camera reset up and let me show you how incredibly easy this is. And I didn't mention this before, but you really need to do this, I would say, every 10 to 15,000 miles just to try to keep the deposits down. I just turned over 30,000 miles and I'm just now getting around doing it. Shame on me, but hey, you know, at least I'm doing it now. So let me get everything set up so you can see what I'm going to do with this engine. I just wanted to show you guys a really quick, neat trick if you have a Honda. Normally, you would put the hood stop rod there, but if you want to service the back of the engine and you need more clearance, then you can put they've put a second stop right there, which puts the hood almost vertical. So I didn't know if a lot of people knew that, but let me get the camera positioned and let me show you how we're going to set this cleaner kit up. All right, so as you can see, here is the brake booster vacuum line. It goes to the intake manifold right there. There is a plastic nipple that sticks up, and I'm going to take some needle nose pliers. Going to remove the clamp. It's just a spring clamp. Depending if you're working on a different model car, it may be something different. I'm going to pull this out. Okay, I'm just going to put this aside, and then the nipple that's sticking up there, I'm going to place my hose on, and it's a nice tight fit so it's not going to leak. And let me give you a close-up of that now. All right, there's the plastic nipple that comes out of the intake manifold, and I've put this hose all the way on there. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to uncoil this hose. I'm going to go around to the other side and show you how we're going to set this up. And I'll be able to do this by myself, keeping the RPMs on the engine to around 2,500 as I am injecting the cleaner into the engine through the hose. All right, so I've got the hose. It's plenty long enough for me to inject the cleaner from the driver's seat. And again, the reason I'm doing this is because I've got to keep the RPMs up to a certain level. I'm going to go ahead and take my plunger. This is just a rubber stopper. I've got a metered hole drilled through there. It fits perfectly here, just like that. We'll have no vacuum leaks. And then as soon as I start the engine and everything's good, I will go ahead and put the straw into the plunger like that, and then I'll go ahead and spray the cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead and do this while I'm sitting here. See, there is a nice vacuum source here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that in like that. So I've got this in here maybe an inch. I'm going to raise my RPMs to about 2,500, and then short bursts. And every time I do that, I can hear the engine stumble a little bit. Okay, the directions say to let the car heat soak, or the engine heat soak, for 1 hour, which I've done. And we're going to go ahead and start it up. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed during the video, but the engine was running really rough, as it will. And the check engine light was flashing. I put the scanner on it and there were absolutely no codes at all. You can see there's no codes. And we're just going to go go ahead and drive the car. It said to drive it for 10 minutes at highway speed. So that's what we're gonna do. Now I apologize, I don't have a mount for this GoPro, so we're just going to do the best we can. Okay, there's copious amounts of blue smoke coming out. You see I've got all kinds of flashing codes. That's not good. Alright, so here we are back. As you can see, I've got some I've got the check engine light and a couple other lights on, but the car is running really good. So I'm going to keep driving it here and I'll report back when the lights go off. Alright, here we are back in the Honda, and I want to show you guys that all is well. All the lights are out. What it took was I had about 6 or 7 start cycles and I drove about 20 miles, and of course, like I said earlier, once the misfire is not detected anymore within a certain parameter by the computer, all the lights that were on before, well, they're gone now. And I got to tell you that this engine does run quite, especially at idle. It is just, you can't even feel it. Very pleased with the results, and it's too bad that you know, I was starting to get a little roughness at idle. Not a lot, but enough where I could tell. But it is glass smooth now. It runs perfectly fine. It revs up. It, you know, feels really nice and strong. And of course, like I said before, the check engine light and the other lights that came on are now off because the computer sees that there's no faults. And so don't let that scare you. But I hope this video was helpful. I hope if you guys have a gasoline direct injection engine, that you'll think about some preventive maintenance to hopefully stave off a large repair bill in the future. And with that being said, I appreciate everybody's viewership. Check the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and also the bell next to it, where you'll be notified of the videos as soon as they come out. And I will talk to you guys on the next video.